the main advantage surely about playing at home is the crowd, isn't it? And maybe it'll help the away teams. I mean, you're starting off with some away matches if there's no crowd there.
I know. I mean, from a personal point of view, and I should imagine I echo the thoughts of every Sheffield United fan, and I should imagine every fan up and down the country. From our point of view, going to the likes of Newcastle, a packed Old Trafford, Leicester City late on in the season, all Villa Park. I always think it's a brilliant place to go and play football. A historic football ground, and it's a brilliant club. As you well know, working in that area for a long time. We've had those experiences taken away from us, and obviously the home games at Bramall Lane, where the support has been phenomenal. An FA Cup quarter final against the Arsenal as well to look forward to. So experiences taken away. I mean, thankfully our away record's been pretty good as well this year. So I think there's all different ways of looking at it. You're playing at Old Trafford and you get a few passes in and you manage to get a foothold in the game, then it becomes uncomfortable for them. If they're on top and their wonderful players start saying yes, then it becomes a really difficult afternoon. So there's all different ways of looking at it. But we've just really enjoyed the experience of being involved in the Premier League. Every game near enough being a sellout, especially at Bramall Lane. So, yeah, those experiences taken away from us are disappointing.
I'm wondering how it's going to affect players, because players want to play in the first team because the atmosphere on these big crowds and big matches, as you say. I wonder if it affects players.
Well, we were talking about it today. We returned to training, returned to contact training, playing 11 versus 11 behind closed doors, and you can't replicate what's going to happen for us on the 17th. We're trying to get as close to that as possible. We've lined up 3 friendly games against local opposition, which will be a little bit more competitive. But I think we're all in the same boat. Players enjoy playing in front of packed crowds, enjoy the excitement, the nervousness, the adrenaline that rushes through the bodies when not only playing against world-class players, but playing in world-class stadiums in front of packed audiences, and they thrive on that, and they've got the difficult job. From our point of view as managers and coaches, we'll try and inspire them, and we'll try and tell them what we need from them from a tactical and technical point of view. But basically, they've got to get their heads around it, and we're no different to everybody else. I should imagine every manager and every player up and down the country in the Premier League is going to say the same things. That they're ready, they're fit, but no, everybody's at different levels, and we'll only find out when the ball gets rolling, Gary. And I think it's the least that we could have done as a profession, in my point of view, is get ourselves back out there and playing, and give everybody a little bit of a boost and get back to work.
Yeah, well, you've got certainly a packed programme. You've got that extra game in hand, which is why the 4 clubs are playing on June the 17th, because there are 4 clubs with a game in hand. You've got June the 17th to July the 26th for the final round. I know it's only 10 matches in the league, but you've got the FA Cup on top, the quarter-final at home, as you say, to Arsenal.
I know what we're doing, progressing in that cup. I mean,
well, do you know, you've never won it, and I think you were last in a final in 1936.
Oh, I think we've won it. I think we've won it, Gary.
Oh, sorry, you won it.
Don't take it off the honours board.
Let me correct you. You won it in the 19th century, 1800 and something. Don't take. You were in the semi-final. You keep losing semi-finals since then, apart from the 2 finals that you've been in, or the 1 final. Yeah, you've been in 2 finals. But the last semi-final was just before you came, actually, 2015, wasn't it?
Yeah, I went. Yeah. I went. I was there with my pals. We went. We were winning at half time. I had a couple of extra Guinnesses. We all did. And then the time we got back out, I think we were 2-1 up, and then I think we were about 4-2 down in an heartbeat to Steve Bruce's Hull. So I shouldn't have stayed in the bar as long as I did. Maybe we would have got a result.
So would you play your strongest team in that quarter final?
100%. Yeah, I mean we've taken the tournament serious from the outset, from the third round. I mean, have we changed our side through the rounds? Yeah. We've got progressively stronger and played a more settled side further on in the competition. But I think once you get to this stage of the competition, you'll definitely fancy the opportunity of getting into the semi-final, even though we're playing the Arsenal, who are a very, very talented and fabulous football club. And you look at who's left in the competition as well. I think it is possibly one of the strongest eight teams left in the competition. Usually find a couple of championship clubs in there. Obviously through history, there's Chesterfield's rise through to the semi-final, but not this year. They're all in there, and obviously we're part of that, and we're delighted to get this far, and we don't want to just give it up easy. So it's a tough tie, but one we're going to be really looking forward to and play our as strong a side as we possibly can.
It's interesting, isn't it? You took over your schoolboy team, your love, Sheffield United in 2016. In the 3 and a bit years since then, you took over in May. You've had promotion from League One and then promotion straight away from the Championship. You drop straight into the Premier League with a very limited budget, free transfer players like John Fleck have been terrific. And everyone says at the start of the season, well, one of the teams that have been relegated is Sheffield United. Were you surprised when you read all that?
No, I understood it. I think as soon as promoted teams go up into the Premier League, and everybody talks about the jump from the Championship to the Premier League, and I've said it all along, the Championship is a brilliant league to be involved in, but it's such a tough division to get out of. How many big clubs are in there? It's absolutely ridiculous, and they're all trying to get into the Premier League, and they're all trying from a financial point of view to get in there and take risks and take big punts. And not always are successful with it. We've done it in our own way, and we're delighted that the way we've done it. We're a stable football club. I think that's really important, and I think obviously we're very grateful of the timing of getting in there, because I think obviously if it'd been 12 months later, then we'd have been in a position of obviously the Championship clubs are now, which is obviously a difficult one, and from a finance point of view as well. So yeah, we're pretty fortunate that the timing was good for us. But I understand that. There was one of the things that we talked about at the our pre-season meetings that we had was that the media attention that we'll get, and everybody will have an opinion on us, and there's some I'll be honest that we'll use and pin up as motivation, and others will just let slide by. But there is always, because of it being the best league in the world and everybody talks about it, and the media coverage which it has is incredible. I mean, we had our media day this year, and there was people from all parts of the world, that all the boys were doing interviews, and so I think that was a little eye opener for those boys what to expect. But certainly from an opinion point of view, everybody has one, and you have to be careful that you don't take too many too serious. Yeah. But a couple, there's no doubt about it. We did use.
Did you pin them up?
Of course, and we added a few words to them as well. But listen, Gary, we've the journey's been great, and we climbing to the top of the mountain, because that's what it is for a club like Sheffield United in the position that we've been there. And the hardest thing now is to stay here and cement our position, which I certainly understand, and I know the players understand that this is certainly not a time to take the foot off the gas.
I mean, everybody loved Leicester City, and they loved them winning the Premier League. I think everybody's going to love what you're doing, and you're 5 points off the Champions League spot. That's Chelsea. That's fantastic. And you played Chelsea, Spurs, and Manchester United in your last 10 matches. So in a way, the Champions League could be in your hands if you win the 3 matches.
And the hands of Chelsea, and the hands of Wolves, and the hands of Manchester United as well.
Yeah.
And the hands of Leicester.
Yeah, but you're playing them all. I mean, you haven't got to sit back and see what they do. You've got an absolute chance here. I mean, wow, Sheffield United in the European Champions League.
Yeah,
that would be something. I mean,
listen,
it's not there yet, but
we of course you've got to, you've got to have dreams and you have ambitions, and we've got our head down and looked at every game, and we've been positive in our approach. And if we've been beaten, we've looked why we have been quickly and talking about the media. One of the other things that we talked about is obviously our reaction to defeat, and I think Phil Jagielka was a main voice in our meetings in that we have to quickly overcome defeat, because one defeat can quickly turn into 2, 3 and 4, and all of a sudden you feel you're playing well and you're not getting results. Thankfully we've really adjusted and got ourselves back up and running after defeats, and that's been a great attribute that we have had, and no doubt we'll need in the next 10 games, Gary, because I think beyond our wildest dreams that we can think that we can cruise through the last 10 games. There's some brilliant games to be involved in. It's all to play for. We understand that. I mean, for us to be even talking about the position and what other people are talking about is just incredible. But we feel we deserve to be here. The way we've approached it, the results that we've got, we've took every game on its own merit and try to add to that points total, and we'll try our best to add to the 43 points that we've got already.
How have you done this, Chris? I know you used as a manager coming through the leagues, not having big budgets, but I mean you've got John Fleck, who's been terrific on a free from Coventry. You've got other players like Jack O'Connell, isn't it?
Yeah, Jack.
£350,000 from Brentford. What is it that you look for in a player? I once read that you look for technical, but also personality. Well, what is it you think you look for in a player?
Yeah, I think they've got to have, especially the potential to be good enough to play at that level. There's so many players that you could reel off that started at the bottom and that have ended up, playing for England and playing for the country. And always, the biggest one for me, and maybe not the greatest one to talk about because he's a Sheffield Wednesday supporter in our era, is Jamie Vardy. I've got an incredible amount of respect for Jamie and what he's done. He was playing Stocksbridge Park Steels, which is up one of the hills in the north of Sheffield, in front of about 50 people, and the journey that he's been on to win a Premier League, to play and represent his country in major international tournaments is just brilliant. So there's been plenty of players that started off at the bottom and they've got the desire and they've got the attributes. They just need that opportunity. We're not lazy in our recruitment, Gary. We've had to work hard because we've not in a situation where we can just write checks left, right, and centre. So there's been a lot of work gone into the process of the recruitment aspect, and then you have to get them on the grass, and they've got to be willing to give everything for the football club, and you've got to be willing to put the time in to improve them and try and pull it together. And we've got a group of players that are extremely committed. They've got a fantastic desire to do well for themselves and keep raising their game. You talk like a John Flake. He started off at Glasgow Rangers, boy wonder, and had a few disappointments, and obviously came down the road and was playing at Coventry, and we knew a lot about him, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, Gary, but the biggest effort goes from the player, because if he hasn't got that desire inside himself to improve his game and want to lift himself, then nothing's going to happen. And the likes of Flecky and Jack O'Connell have certainly done that.
And of course, one of the recruitments is a lone player, a fantastic young goalkeeper, 23, Dean Henderson. I was just looking at his stats. I mean, he's played 27 games, 22 goals conceded, 10 clean sheets. And in the FA Cup, he's played 3, let in 2 goals and 1 clean sheet. What is the situation with his loan at Manchester United, because it's the second season, I think, and it runs out the end of June.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that have been talked about is obviously the expiry of loans, and we're hopeful that we can extend the loan. I know Dean definitely wants that to be extended. He wants to finish off the season, and I'm sure Manchester United want him to finish off the season. You know, they've been great with us over the last 2 years. We've had a really healthy relationship with them over the last 4 or 5 years. We've taken a couple of players from them. I think our reputation in terms of the way we look after them is been good, and that's one of the things. When I first got the job, I thought that, you know, this is a good football club for the powerful clubs to send their better young players to. Passionate football crowd, good facilities, you know, great stadium at Bramall Lane, and we like to think that, you know, they're not wasting the time coming to us. So we've had relationships with Chelsea, with Spurs, with Manchester United, with their young players. And obviously Dean comes into that category. He's been outstanding for us. He's obviously broke into the England squad, and we're hopeful that, you know, that can be extended. Dean's been fantastic for us for 2 years, and I think the importance of having a really top class goalkeeper has really been key for a major part of our results this year.